A cyclist hit by a car and left on the road says he won't stop searching until he finds out who was behind the wheel of that car. Amazingly, he says his hunt for answers led him to the car itself, but that's where the mystery deepens.
New at 5, 10 News reporter Michael Chen is in Talmadge tonight with the clues the cyclist discovered and the reason the driver still hasn't been identified.
Robert DeMaio had just wrapped up a 50-mile bike ride when disaster struck right about here. Months later, he's still on a personal quest to find out who did this. In a flash, he was slammed into the ground.
I remember my legs being up over my head and I'm flipped in the air.
Around 10 a.m. on a September morning, DeMaio says he was biking on the right edge of the road going south on Aldine Drive when witnesses say a car behind him swerved into him.
I remember hitting the ground and being in excruciating pain.
Dazed, he got up and saw the car driving off.
And I'm yelling out, "Someone needs to go after the Subaru that just ran me over."
Instead, the witnesses tended to him. He was taken to the ER. The collision had cracked his helmet, causing a severe concussion, his body filled with road rash. The next day,
Got out of bed the next morning and I was furious.
still heavily bandaged, he drove the area in search of the car, blocks from his home.
Stopped dead in my tracks and I knew that that was the car.
Parked in a driveway, a Subaru with front-end damage and a cracked windshield. He called San Diego police. An officer came and impounded the car.
He informed me he found rubber from my rear wheel on the bumper. He found human skin on the vehicle.
DeMaio says the car owner stated he was out of town during the accident, and the two roommates with access to the keys both denied driving it that morning. A San Diego police spokesperson told us since there were no witnesses that saw the driver, the investigation is at a standstill. We knocked on the car owner's door, but nobody was home. DeMaio's attorney, Mike Baumberger, says they just filed suit against the roommates and the owner. The owner filed a stolen vehicle report 8 days after the incident, even though the car was back in the driveway the day after the incident.
He filed the stolen vehicle report to avoid responsibility for the accident. We are going to take this case in order to try to find who's responsible so that they can be held accountable.
Because of the incident, DeMaio now suffers from memory loss, depression, and other symptoms.
The actions of this driver prove that this is someone that should not be allowed on the road.
Michael Chen, 10 News.
All right, now here's a closer look at the two locations. The accident happened here on Aldine Drive. It is just east of the 15. The house where that car was found is located here on Euclid Avenue. The two locations are less than a mile apart and both are located just north of Hoover High School.